ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the ESL Pro League, and we're getting into our final best of two of the night. It's going to be between NiP and Mousesports. My name is Semler, and with me, it's been a long time since I've said this is Ben. What's up, Vendetta? You doing good?
Dude, I'm doing good. It's been a while.
God damn, it's been a while. You're right.
How long has it been? I think it's like fight night? Is it that long?
I think it was that long, dude.
Yeah.
That was like, what, last year?
Yeah.
Spring?
Yeah, something. It's been forever.
It's been way too long, bro.
Yeah.
Way too long. Unacceptable.
We're back at it, though.
You know, hint, hint. But how you doing, bro? Okay, so you ready for this match that's coming up? Because so far,
yeah.
I mean, Mousesports, they didn't look too shabby versus G2 earlier tonight.
They actually looked pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Better than I thought. I thought it was kind of the opposite of what Henry thought. Henry thought G2 would take overpass, Mouse would take Dust 2. I thought G2 would kind of go 2-0.
Yeah.
But we saw them on overpass. They could kind of just dominate G2 easily.
Mouse just looked on a totally different level on that map.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we knew that they were all right on overpass, but not like, you know, that's actually a very good map for G2. So for them to just get dumpstered on it, that was a bit of a shock for everybody, I think.
Absolutely. And the fact that Mousesports had, Next, who was just performing, is really good, you know, in addition to having Christy doing his usual thing, and then Nico obviously leading the charge towards any sort of bomb site he goes to. So if Mousesports can get all those three guys clicking, that's really impressive. And then you have, you know,
Dennis,
guys like
bro.
yeah, exactly, guys like Dennis who are just like doing what they're supposed to do, which is oftentimes, you know, I think Henry mentioned it, criminally underrated, because he doesn't really, you know, pop off the scoreboard.
I think it was, well, at least in tonight's two matches, we saw, like, it was like Dennis, Nico. It was pretty much like Dennis and Nico show, and then it would be like, okay, maybe Chris J shows up a little bit later in the map. That's what happened on Dust 2.
Yeah.
But,
Next
like,
as well.
Next as well, actually, and that is the surprising thing, considering sometimes you see Next make some like questionable decisions.
Oh,
tonight he kind of kept
definitely.
those to like a minimum almost. Like he was actually making some pretty good plays along with the rest of them.
I think even Yanko would be happy with Next today.
Yeah, and Yanko's a tough serve to please.
Oh, absolutely. I remember during Leipzig, it was pretty much just like round after round. I was like, Next, no, why?
I know, right? Dude, he was tilting so hard. Well, because in case you guys don't know, like the history between Yanko and Nico is that they used to play on the same team together, right?
iNation.
And Nico is kind of Yanko's protege. So now, especially that Nico's calling, he talks with Yanko a lot about like what they're doing in the server and like, well, you know, what they need to work on and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Yanko, you can't really have him on a desk when they're talking Mousesports because you know, it's hard to get him like not biased, right, in the match. But,
no idea what you mean.
I know, right? No, never that. You know, it's like me when I cast NB matches. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
I mean, you were a perfect gentleman watching that DPMB game.
I was actually.
You never took a side.
I was very, very impressed with Kiyoshima.
Like, he was playing lights out.
Well, because we were having that talk, right, where it's like, Kyo is clearly like starting to like experience a different level of CS, or like get closer to that next tier of CS, which is like really smart CS. You know, we saw several times
consistent CS.
Dude, yeah, on Cobble we saw it, but also on Mirage where he was making these really interesting decisions where you could tell where it's kind of like, okay, you know, maybe Kyo 6 months ago would have taken that peak again or taken that fight, and now that this same Kyo is actually backing off, changing up his position, really playing the map really well. A lot of strong A-holds for him.
Oh yeah.
Where they came in and there was just like where he just like wrecked them all basically, but like with really smart positioning basically. And it's really cool to see Kyo. But then, you know, we have that same discussion where it's like, okay, well, how do you apply that to like Apex and Kenny? Are these guys going to be able to, you know, to hit that next tier? I don't know, man. In my opinion, like Kenny and Apex are kind of like artists. Like you don't really mess with them. You know, you kind of let them just do their thing.
Let them do their craft.
Yeah, right.
And hope it goes well. I guess it's like you said. You know, MBK has been trying to get this into Kyo's head that, you know, you're supposed to play off of information, play, you know, with your teammate. If you can actually get information, back off for 2 seconds, then get a guy pop flash in for you, and then go back. That's much better than just seeing someone and just wildly start firing. But in the case of Apex, a lot of the things that makes him so dangerous is the fact that when he first gets a kill, he's never going to stop. he's just going to continue and go
You're
and
saying
get
that he's
more
the
and more
juggernaut?
magical. You know, pretty much, yeah.
I see.
In many ways, he is. So he's never going to stop. So what happens if you actually limit Apex from that and just have him stop after that first frag?
Steal his superpowers.
Yeah. So no, it's going to be interesting to see. But as you said, MVR is still a work in progress, and I guess their first real test is going to be Katowice.
Yeah, that's really. Well, it's. I mean, we're going to have a lot of really interesting matches at Katowice, and NiP are going to be there as well. We haven't seen them play on LAN all year. They've just been kind of like, well, we've
hiding
just,
in the shadows.
Yeah, exactly, hiding in the shadows, living up to their names, right? Because you know, just staying in bed, resting up, making sure that they're going to be fleek and sleek, and in the dark of the night.
And I mean, if VP is anything to judge from, they kind of took a break after the Leipzig disaster and
True.
Went back, practiced. Definitely looked better today. I mean, no question.
This is where we're going to start seeing interesting CS, right? Because a lot of these teams are starting to either travel to Poland to boot camp or are already boot camping in their own facilities.
Yeah.
And that's where, maybe it took a boot camp to get Virtus Pro on the same page, like to start getting them to figure out, okay, like when you're sitting side by side.
Yeah,
feel the wrath of Taz, feel the wrath of Cuban, feel the wrath of Neo. Neo is a very a dour wrath. He's kind of just like he just sits there.
He's got the death stare.
Boiling, right? But Neo never shows emotion. He's just kind of like looks at you, and you know that you're about to die.
Yeah.
Unless he has mercy.
You done goofed.
Yeah. Neo's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is whether this boot camp is effective, and it seems like it. I mean, we saw a totally revitalized Virtus Pro tonight, much better than the past couple of weeks of Pro League matches that we've seen from them so far. I mean, they finally broke the streak. They're 1-9.
Yeah.
1-9. One. That one matters so much, Ben.
Oh, absolutely. Especially given the fact that it's against Envious, and you did it on a map they're really, really good at.
Yeah.
So
on the map that's supposed to be their best map, right?
Yeah. So definitely nothing to scoff at, and I think that they're only going to grow in that sense. I think they're just going to get more motivation from that. They can see that we're not out of it, even though we had a shoddy start. 2016, we can still fight with the best, and we know how these guys get around when they play on the home field. We've seen them time and time after again. Well, 2 times in Katowice where they just kind of stomp the living hell out of people. When the first time around in 2014, it was Pasha just came out of pretty much nowhere. Well, not nowhere, but he was just all of a sudden playing like the best player. Yeah, he was just playing like he was the best player in the world. And I think any of those polls have the ability to do so in the right environment. And if they get hyped up by the crowd, if they can get them behind them, and they kind of get into their groove, that's going to be really scary.
I feel like we saw a glimmer of that from Neo tonight. Like there was some pretty sick rounds. That pistol round, CT pistol on Mirage, where he just calmly clicks 3 people away on that B site and saves the round. I mean, we saw some glimmers of the magical Neo.
Yeah, and speaking of magic, I mean, what are your expectations of NiP?
That's the tough bit, isn't it?
They are boot camping, so
I'm unsure, right? They are boot camping. They've been boot camping for a while now as well, right? Yeah. So I'm still unsure though, because they played a match and they looked pretty good against Dignitas, right? But then apparently they just got railroaded by eFrag.
Yeah, they've lost to opponents we don't expect them to lose to, but they've also beat one of the hottest teams in the world right now, which is Dignitas. So not really sure where to put NiP right now, but being in boot camp, having threat there to kind of guide them through the hard times if they run into them, that's definitely going to be a big help.
No, that's what we're waiting on. In case you guys are wondering, we're in the warm-up right now. You guys can see it at the top of your screen. So we haven't started things yet here. They aren't just running around like lemmings, just trying to shoot at each other. This isn't we aren't that deep down in the hole yet. I know Envy and Fnatic do a good job of making it look that way sometimes, but don't worry, guys. Don't worry. There's more to it. There's more to it. So, yeah, I mean, as far as NiP are concerned, I'm still thinking Mouse have an edge here. Mouse have been showing us some good stuff on LAN. At Leipzig, online, they're showing us that they're not exactly pushovers right now. It's really just a question mark as far as where are NiP? What kind of level do NiP have right now, and how confident are they in their ability to step up versus some of these teams? Yeah.
And seeing how we haven't really been able to see all that much from NiP, especially with Python lineup, I slightly favor Mousesports because that's been Catch has been a historically good map for them. Previously, it's not been that great of a map for NiP. It's a map they've chosen often, but it's had very varied results. But then again, a team actually, speaking of new additions, Threat, his team's I guess Acer, to be more specific, they were pretty good on cash.
They were. They had a sick A take with like these Molotovs and everything that they would just unleash, and there was nowhere to go if you're the CT side, like literally nowhere to hide on the site. Really, really sick. So I hope that we'll that we'll get to see that kind of threat, that him have that impact on NiP. Start saying, like, guys, these are strats. These are what strats look like. Right?
I think we might see that early. If NiP get off to actually winning the pistol, if we're going to see them actually pick up Molotovs and focus on Molotovs over AGs, because that's something Threat constantly goes on about, how teams don't utilize that good enough. I see Nico with a deagle.
So scary.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised that Pyth just continues to repeat here.
I know, it's like playing with fire, right? I mean, Pyth, we know, you're confident.
Could get burned.
But that's some scary stuff. And right now, NiP going for a bit of a retake scenario over here on A. Bit of a variation, considering they have 2 players holding at car, not just the single man.
Extremely passive hold for NiP, so they just want to go for the retake regardless of what bomb site right here. Force just going to pick for the info.
And he actually spots it, so Nico taking a little bit of damage. Again, serving as the entry fragger, which is interesting to see that. Not exactly the best position for him, in my opinion, but, they're just running that right now, Mousesports. Forrest, he does find Dennis, and that's a bit unfortunate for Mousesports. Dennis has been doing a lot of work for Mousesports tonight. We've seen some good performances from him so far. So for him to be dead here in this crucial pistol, that is not going to be, giving Mousesports that confidence. But they did get the bomb plant, and now it's a question of whether they can hold off this retake coming in from NiP. And NiP, they still have a couple of smokes to play with, the flash as well, and the kit on Freiburg. That's the usual man to carry it. So now we have to see. The flash goes in, straight out rush, 1 headshot, 2 headshots, could be a 3rd here, 3 headshots from Chris, and that pretty much snuffs it for NiP. A 1v2, and what in the hell was that, Ven? I don't even...
Well, obviously this is a retake that NiP have practiced, and you could definitely tell that the smokes were planned out. Unfortunately for them, the one flash they had wasn't enough to flash the entire side, so you can see flash goes out here, and Chris being at the back side, not really being affected by it at all. And I definitely think you can make a case for the fact that the second guy following up, I think it was behind Gutright, which might have been Pyth, should have been able to at least get some damage done on Chris, but...
Yeah, that's the main concern right there. If you're going
to be able to trade there.
Sack the first guy, sure, but the second guy needs to hit that headshot. That's got to be a 100% shot once you have the info.
Yeah.
So not the glorious start that we were hoping here. If you're a NiP fan, you were definitely hoping for a little bit more. We got that big iron scout that's being used. I haven't seen that in a while, so that's on Forest. Okay then.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're actually going aggressive and early on with the scout. See if you can get an easy pick. They probably know that Mouse are aware that they've bungled a lot of anti-ecos in their early games today. Probably want to play pretty passive, so that allows NiP to actually get some sort of map control early on.
They've got a good mix here as well, Mousesports, wanting to have that utility for any kind of play that they want to go for. 3 SMGs picked up, but that allows them to have full nades, full sets of nades, and they actually aren't fully grouped, right? Spitty is over on that B site, B halls rather, throwing a couple nades in there just to keep NiP guessing so that it isn't too obvious that this is about to be an A hit. And Gutright, he's not long for this world. He just gets completely overwhelmed. And well, now it's the remaining 4 players here for NiP. They were kind of stacked over on the B site. That didn't pan out, and so now they decide to hold on to the gear that they've invested in.
Might as well. So have another go at it, potentially stack another bomb site, or do some. Pretty much, you could do the exact same thing. Have Force push aggressively towards B, see if you can put some early information, perhaps get an early pick, and then stack the rest of the guys towards a different bomb site. But as of right now, this should be a pretty easy round for Mousesports. And this is something. If Threat had been the coach of Mousesports right now, he would have been really happy because that was a lot of utility used. They just pretty much spent everything they have because why not use $900 on nades to win a round instead of potentially losing 20,000 in value, equipment value because you didn't bother to buy a Molotov, that type of thing.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree, man. That is one of the things. It comes down to thorough play, like fundamentals. And, well, they will manage to hold on. All 4 players there that made the investment in NiP, they'll be able to hold on to their gear for this round. So Mousesports not out of the woods quite yet. But, like you said, all they have to do is reinvest $800, $900 back into this round, get some Molotovs, all that sort of jazz, and they'll be set to go. Yeah. Whereas NiP, not going to spend any more money. There's a single flash getting picked up on Exist. I like that a lot. And we'll see where he decides to use that. That could be, that could be what makes the difference here if Mousesports decide to run into his trap. It's not looking like it, though. It's not looking like it.
Force just holding off mid with the scout, so no aggressive peek on B. And that leaves NiP with not that much of map control at all. They have one guy pushing aggressively in halls, but Mousesports already making their way towards B.
What a sick shot, but I think Chris J, I think that was a wallbang headshot or something because Chris gets dropped down to 1 HP. Big damage being dealt here to Mousesports, and Pyth, he will get overwhelmed in the end, so we are into a 3-on-3 situation. But Chris J is down to 1 HP. It's almost where, and they haven't even got the bomb plant down. Gertright just goes charging through. Might have pulled the trigger a little early there.
Does buy time though in the smoke. Well, they do pick up a new one, so it's not going to matter all that much. But there's still time for NiP to just wait this out. They don't have a kit, but still, it's going to be plenty of time to actually get a defuse after that smoke dissipates and spawn.
Okay, they know that Forrest is playing from upper now. No reason to peek him. Issue is that they don't know where Exist is coming from. Exist only has the P2000, but now he's got a UMP to play with. So we'll see if he can actually make this work. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't have Kevlar, and now they have the second info. So now, Mousesports, they have everything they need, and there you go. Systematic. Forrest tries to push in. He takes a bullet to the face, and now it's going to be down to Exist with that UMP, just hoping to spray and pray, but it's not going to work. Speedy is there to catch him out in the open, and 2 players survive for Mousesports. So a bit more of a close round there, but Mousesports still succeeding in weathering the storm there.
Yeah, and due to the fact that they had such a good second round here, they didn't really have to invest anything at all going into that third round, which makes them still pretty okay in the money department. You can see Dennis and Speedy both sitting on around 6K after buying. Chris using all of his bank on that off, but that's to be expected.
Fairly reasonable buy coming out here from NiP. I like to see that they're not really skimping on the
utility
kits. Look at this. Yeah. Exist, surprise, and Nico, man, he can't react in time. What a great shot. And well, that's actually the worst possible follow-up. Just running out into the open, no smoke blocking off A main. Exactly. Where was the smoke?
Very surprised by, if you're going to do like a double peek in A halls, just smoke off that A main.
I'm a little dumbfounded there. That seems like an elementary mistake being made there by NiP. It was a perfect start to the situation. Forrest will be able to charge forward, take out Chris. He gets a second kill on Dennis as well, and a third, denying the bomb plant, bringing it back to a 1v1. And Speedy, he's had a rough night. He has not been hitting his shots tonight for Mousesports. So this is perfect for Freiburg. He's got eyes on the bomb, so he knows that Speedy has to come here eventually. And he might be able to catch Speedy in the back here. Speedy has no idea where the Swede is playing from, and it will be the clutch, the 1v1 win here for Freiburg, and even saves the AWP for Forrest.
Pretty amazing that they actually managed to salvage that, or Forrest, more correctly, managed to salvage that. But that could have easily been avoided from NiP. They could have gotten away from that situation with a pretty easy advantage. Picking off Nico early on if that smoke is down in main, which is a pretty common smoke to throw anyway, regardless if you're pushing aggressively or not, just to hold off that early aggression from an operator like Chris J. You know, that could have gone so much smoother for NiP, but no, managed to hold on to an off. Still not the greatest buy, and you can see the lack of utilities right now on the Swedish side is pretty telling.
It's pretty dire, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that 1v1, I mean, it's still like a minor victory for Mousesports, considering it means that NiP have just, they come into this round, maybe they get a couple of kills, right? But, they're floating somewhere around $3,400, $3,700. So it's not the best. You can see 2 guys having to go with the FAMAS, for example, and then having to skimp on helmet armor as well just to be able to get some nades. It's not the best situation here for NiP. They're definitely not out of the woods. And if Mousesports win this, it's going to be a very traumatic experience for NiP. It means they'll be going back to pistols. So now we have to see. We have a bit of a clever position here from Gertright. We don't get to see it too often, so I'm curious to see if Chris is going to react, and yes, he will. I'm expecting Chris to be watching quad, and he just glances up and takes out Gertright, and now things are about to get hairy. Exist, well, they hardly have any utility at all to hold off this push. Mousesports, the site is theirs if they make good use of their nades. And their bullets.
Yeah. Bullets are pretty effective, and as Nico goes to show on to Freiburg, and Forrest, all he can do is try to hold on to that up. Mousesports doesn't have the greatest economy, but seeing how their Forrest still alive, they can sacrifice one guy to actually hunt for that op on Forrest, but not sure they actually want to do it. It actually seems like they're spitting out pretty early on. Yeah. But they don't want to sustain too many losses here.
Yeah, they need to go for the shoulder peaks around the common angles, not just exactly walk out into the open like Nex. But, Nex is sometimes not a subtle player. He's a very straightforward player. He looks for the headshots.
Brute force.
And
there
Chris
we go.
We'll catch him. So this is reasonable. Mousesports keeping 3 alive. That's perfectly fine.
Absolutely. Can drop 2 weapons. No real damage done to their economy, and they know that NiP are just completely broke.
Yeah, and because it's going to be that double eco scenario now, NiP, they're just like, okay, well,
got a force.
We'd eco anyways, right? So we might as well just go for the force here. Bit of the Hail Mary. If they can actually catch Mousesports off guard here, this would be huge. But Mousesports, they need to be aware of the risk. They need to understand that, okay, their economy is going to be in the dumps.
They could take a similar approach as to what they did in the previous round, actually, because they knew that NiP were low on utility, so they kind of took slow, allowed NiP to actually, and you could tell right now, they're just playing super passively, because they know that NiP are the ones who are going to have to find the good situations for themselves. If they get pushed in and, end up sitting back at a bomb set that gets Molotov to pieces, then they're not going to win the round.
Curious to see if Mousesports decide to go for the mid control eventually here. At least get some form of information to go off of before they decide on a site. Because we're getting down to 1 minute, 10 seconds. They're going to start feeling that pressure to make a move. And Mousesports right now, they don't really have a whole lot to go off of apart from, well, okay, NiP haven't pushed us, but where are they?
Exactly, and I definitely agree with that. And that's something they didn't do on Dust 2. That they would pretty much sit still and hold passively, but they didn't get any map control. Actually, they just gave it up. If they actually go through mid here, something that Virtus Pro would just be very proficient at, they wouldn't run in blindly to sites.
Oh, this is about to get nasty. Exist somehow finding 2 kills. Nex and Nico bringing it back, though, but there's still an extra man here alive on the site. That's Forrest with, he said 75. This is the perfect range for this pistol. If Nico decides to press forward here, he could take a handful of bullets to the face, and it's not going to be pleasant. Freiberg, he's still alive as well, just drawing attention to himself. That allows Forrest to peek out, pick up 1 kill, and it's all on Forrest now. 1v2 for him. 20 seconds left for Mousesports to get this plant. And they're trying to guess as to where Forrest is coming from, if it's going to be right or left around the big red container. And next, he's prepared. He's holding that angle. Forrest shouldn't have a chance, but he's still alive somehow, and they are just going to take this fight. 10 seconds left, and Forrest can't get the job done. He will get overwhelmed by Nico.
It's not comfortable for Mousesports by any means, and you can tell that they had a ton of utility that they actually could use. A bunch of Molotovs to pretty much just clear out any corner that NiP could be hiding at, but the fact that NiP decided to go on the aggressive with that pop flash into main just really messes up their entire mojo and just forces them into a kind of a bungled A push.
Somehow Exist getting 2 kills as well.
Yeah.
Must have been an effective flash coming in from NiP.
Absolutely.
One thing is, the scoreboard right now is just like Forrest, he's got 10 kills. Everybody else is pretty much like 1 kill. I think apart from Exist, was it, who had 3? But, it's not really ideal here for NiP.
No, definitely not. And Mousesports, as long as they're winning rounds, I mean, sure, they're losing players here and there, but they're actually just winning round after round after round, and it's not really it doesn't really matter too much if NiP actually have to invest a lot into their rounds to actually get any sort of result. Just like you said, they had to double ecos, that's why they forced up, and now they're on the clean eco, and this is a great opportunity for Mousesports to kind of just negate all the work that NiP put in that last round. They just played this safely, and you can tell, again, setting up super passively. I would have liked to see them go through mid here and explore their opportunities.
Yeah, get a little bit more info, because they must realize that the last round they kind of walked into a stack.
Yeah, and that's the same thing they did on Dust 2.
They got to realize that they need to get a little bit more info to make their decision, not just walk into these traps, because last time it didn't work, but Forrest made it pretty damn close. Exist as well, and they are going to make the accurate decision here. They are going to head towards that A site, away from that stack that's happening over on the B site for NiP. This could work out perfectly here for Mousesports. With 30 seconds left, they are cutting it a bit close as far as the clock is concerned, but this is ideal, and they have so much utility still. They have all the nades. This is just the easiest take of their lives.
Yeah, they're going to use it all, which is really good. They don't really care the fact that they're up against a clean eco. They just want to play it as safe as possible, but still, they're walking in towards the bomb site somewhat blind, and they could have ended up in a situation similar to what we saw in the last round.
This is a thing of beauty. This is a real pleasure to watch. I mean, when you have such a clean, thorough take on a site, not skimping on nades, not just running and looking for aim duels. Chris J, that's a sexy AK. But, being thorough, spending the money on the nades and making sure that you check everything twice, that's really, really nice.
And that's what you want to see. And, well, NiP just setting up for exits. That's pretty much all they can hope to get here. Maybe they can nab an AK from one of the Mousesports players retreating, but it seems like all of them are running towards CT spawn, so no luck for NiP there.
Yeah, they found their way out. Once you get onto that site, obviously, the next thing you're thinking about is the T side. Hold off the push. Then the next thing, the third thing you're looking at is how do we get out of here before we go up with this bomb. So Mousesports, very nicely done. Perfect round for them as far as they're concerned. And so now we go into the big round here where NiP, once again, they're stunted, their economy. They just don't have the money for full nades, full utility, an AWP on Forrest if he wants it. I mean, they're still struggling. They have not had an easy route of things here in this first half so far.
Yeah. And I'm actually kind of good because I would have expected Threat to be a proponent of actually doing clean ecos instead of those force buys.
This is a bit hectic. Really wondering what the hell is going on here. Forrest is just out in the middle of nowhere. He's trying to manage it. He is managing to maneuver around, and somehow NiP, well, Mousesports decided to go fast mid, and NiP, they made the perfect call this round. They had 3 players in mid. They set up the triangle, and they managed to come out ahead here in the exchange.
I actually like the fact that Forrest didn't shoot back either.
Didn't give it away. And so now, yeah. Do they know? I think he shot out the vents, so they have to know that somebody's going to be coming in from the vents behind him. And Forrest B. Halls takes the shot onto Chris. He gets caught by Nex. Perfect timing from Nex to come in through the B. Halls there with that backstab. And now it's down to Exist to hold them off of this site. He might be able to catch Spitty, and yes, he does. Well, he spots him. He doesn't do any damage, but he spots that bomb getting across. Chris J takes out Get Right, who tries to peek in CT. And now it's all on Exist, who's just, well, he doesn't have a lot of hope here. He must know that Nex is low, but the other 2, they're full HP, and they've got the crossfire established.
And Exist doesn't have a kit either, so it's pretty much a hopeless situation for him to actually try to retake that bomb site. And that swung out of control really fast because NiP had the mid advantage. They had the HP advantage as well because at 4-3 in favor of NiP, Nex was still down at 2 HP. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of Freiburg not being able to stay alive for a couple of seconds longer, allowing Forrest to goes through those vents and actually create somewhat of a crossfire, or at least be in a position to trade with Freiburg.
Yeah, that's got to be the main point. That backstab just had no impact whatsoever. Nex was just there on time to catch out Freiburg, or Forrest rather, when he tried to make the play.
Yeah.
So definitely frustrating here for NiP. Nothing really seems to be going their way, despite Forrest's best efforts.
And we're going to see, well, clean eco coming out from NiP, except for Exists, obviously, who managed to hold on to that Colt. In the upcoming round, he's actually not going to be able to get a full buy. No, actually, no, I'm mistaken. He's going to get a full buy, regardless.
He should be all
yeah,
right.
no, should be able.
It's just a matter of playing keep away at this point. Like, if Exist can be in the right place at the right time when the push comes in, great, groovy. But he's sitting over on that A site, so it could actually work out perfectly for him. You know, they come to the A site, okay, but otherwise he can just, try and save that M4.
Yeah, might be the best option. Well, Mouse make their way towards on the B bomb site once again.
Oh, awkward moment there for Pyth. He tried to go through that smoke. And, well, Exist doesn't even succeed in holding onto the gun. What the hell happened there? I guess he tried to challenge in CT. No, he was on upper. So he got his face taken off, and now, well, Get Right. What can Get Right really hope to accomplish here? Not a whole lot.
No, he has to hope to save that weapon, but you can already see Mousesports are spreading out. They know that a retake is not really likely, and they expect Get Right to be holding onto that pistol, or that weapon.
Oh, that was
wow.
awkward.
The garden hose, as Bardolph would say.
2 HP left on Nico, man. That's smarts. $11,000 on Nex, $9,000 on Chris, $10,000 on. I mean, they got money for days right now, Mousesports.
Yeah, they're not going to be worried about money for the rest of the half, pretty much.
Well, Forrest finally has money for his op, at least. This is pretty much the healthiest buy we've seen NiP get so far.
Yeah, which is pretty worrying considering we're into round 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Took them 10 rounds, but they could afford incendiaries.
Woo!
And 3 kits. Whoa. Calm down, NiP. Calm down. Think of the future, savings, all that.
They all wasted $350 on head armor.
Yeah, right. That is actually a little concerning, considering
I
maybe
guess
it's Dennis. It's the fear of Dennis.
Exactly. The one guy who didn't buy head armor, he would definitely run into Dennis. That's just how it plays out.
Nico, just creating a bit of a diversion. I mean, Mousesports are still pretty straightforward with how they're approaching things. I mean, they are doing a good job, at least, of having Spitty over on the B halls. They don't have anybody set up to hold back a push, though, and Freiburg, I think he just spotted that bomb as well, so that's some good info gained here for NiP. Now he just kind of gets to sit and wait, listen. He's going to be waiting for those footsteps to go past. Once he realizes what goes on, if this push comes into A, he's going to be right there to get that good backstab, that kidney shot straight off the bat. And Exist, he's going to be able to pick up Nico. That was from short, and now Get Right alive on the site. Clever flash. That's a perfect flash. He does get spotted by the man coming out of main, but that doesn't matter. Exist is doing work right now. And while Freiburg, he was successful with his backstab. He drops that bomb carrier. So pretty much, I mean, yes, the defense on the A site was good, but Freiburg, man, he made the difference there by dropping that bomb carrier. It's all over once that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I said, pretty much the one guy that didn't get flashed by Get Right with that flash onto the vents was the guy in A main. He got picked off instantly by Freiburg, so he's not able to create any havoc. and NiP's CT defense. But again, a lot of these things come down to the fact that NiP have one player picking up a lot of frags, more than them just picking them off one by one. So this time it's just picking up that early frag on Nico and then following it up with 2 more. Still a bit of a worrying trend, and Mousesport, as we kind of alluded to, they have a ton of cash, so they're not really worried.
No, especially if they keep getting bomb plants.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't get one in the last round, but they should be able to manage it. This time I'm curious if they're going to change up the pace now. They're going straight into A main this time with 2 players. But they are leaving a man holding mid and one over towards B Hall. So no, this is more of a default setup here from Mousesports, just spreading out, making sure that NiP can't get frisky anywhere on the map.
Yeah, no, there's no reason really for Mousesports to actually change things up because everything they've been doing has been working. So unless they can feel that NiP are actually doing something consistently to actually mess up what they're doing and not just having flukes to save rounds for them, then they could just continue on with their defaults. And yeah, you can tell they're aware of what might be happening. But Freiburg with a great shot onto Dennis.
We have to wait and see just how effective this is going to be, though, and if they're going to commit. Doesn't seem like NiP are sold on this just yet. Fair trade, 1 for 1. But it's still a man advantage here for NiP. Rotation, they have not spotted the bomb yet, but get right. Fantastic shot onto Nico. He's going to get forced around to Forklift, but he's being so unpredictable right now. He will get caught out by Speedy in the end, but it's still a man advantage here for NiP, and a life lead as well now that Speedy gets dropped down to 24 HP. So can they get the bomb down? That's pretty much all that matters at this point. They want that bonus money. And really, Speedy, I mean, he wants to go for the big plays, and he's going to try and make it happen. Mid-air shot on Freiburg as Freiburg just goes jumping up. But yeah, you're right, the Molotov. He's got the time, though, still.
Yeah.
He's
Pretty
trying
hairy
to go for that
situation.
fake, yeah.
But it makes sense for him, actually. Money obviously isn't an issue just yet for Mousesports, so if he can make this into a 1v1, that's definitely what he wants to go for. But I like this from NiP. They're not really showing at all.
It's perfectly done, aren't they? They're just like, yeah, plant the bomb.
Yeah.
Because look at what's happening. Pyth, he's wrapping around. Oh, what is this? Forrest, he gives in, and now there's a chance.
The time? Is he actually going to have time?
He has the time, and now does he realize that a backstab is coming in? Speedy. Oh, if he were to clutch this is the big play. The BDP of the night. And if he spots out Pyth, it all comes down to the timing, and he turns away just as Pyth rounds the corner. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Well, Nico came close with his 1v5 on Dust 2 earlier. Now Speedy nearly pulls off a 1v3.
I thought he would have it as well because the rotation time, obviously, Forrest running at him should be a pretty big tell, especially when he can't hear anyone from Catwalk that, you know, Pyth is either not nearby or is coming from a completely opposite direction. So I was expecting Speedy to just hold off there on site, be patient, but obviously extremely hard to do and have that kind of presence of mind.
Yeah, once you're in that clutch situation, you kill 2, you're down to the 1v1, all the pressure on your shoulders.
You're also low HP. And it's really hard to kind of let Pyth make the play that, you know, walks into your hands, but might have been the right move. Seems like we have one disappearing NiP member, though. It's actually the man of the hour, Pyth. I mean, he's back now.
All right, so not too much downtime. Not too much downtime.
Luckily.
What I'm concerned about right now is just NiP downloading Mousesports. Like what? Because Mousesports still seem to be pretty straightforward. They aren't really putting too much pressure mid. As we saw, Freiburg just got boosted back-to-back, you know, back-to-back rounds up in mid. So are Mousesports going to have to start changing it up and putting a bit more focus on mid? Or do they keep just hitting the extremities like this in a very straightforward way?
Well, in the later rounds right now, they haven't really done all that much towards the B bomb side. They kind of just let Speedy stand outside and wait. And NiP haven't pushed aggressively. They don't rotate through B either, which partly is because Freiburg has been getting boosted up into mid and actually getting information that way. So I would expect them to change things up a little bit, and you can see they're actually setting up towards B initially.
Well, the shot rings out.
But again, Mousesports giving up a lot of map control, so this has to be quickly from Mousesports if they want to do this.
And they're actually going for it. Straight up and forced at the back of the site. Lines him up. 2 kills for him. And Freiburg from Checker is going to peek out and take out Nico. That Molotov was not effective to clear out that back corner. And that's a major problem because Mousesports, when they run in there, they're not expecting to have to worry about that angle.
That was a bit of a bungled play from Mousesports, definitely. I think it's okay if your Mousesports actually go for rounds like that, where you give up map control if you have pace to what you're doing. It's perfectly fine, but you need to hit your nades, otherwise you're going to end up in hairy situations like that.
Yeah, that's really the frustrating. That's going to be a frustrating moment. It's not like, oh man, he just played really well. It's like, oh no, we screwed up our execute. Actually, that should never have happened.
Are they actually trying the same thing once again?
Oh, they might actually. Wait.
They have a Molotov on next. They don't have a Molotov for the headshot box or headshot position, pretty much where Freiburg has been standing with the op or Forest.
What a fantastic flash, though. Pyth is going to set up one of his own. That's one of RPK's old favorites, and that's a 1-for-1 trade. Fairly effective coming in here from Mousesports. And the rotation has to come in now for NiP towards this B site. Bomb is going to make its way onto the site. Bit of a dunk nade right onto Forest. Max damage nade. He's down to 43. Well, they still have a few HEs here on NiP, so this could make the retake easier. Get right flashing his way through head-to-head shot works as well. Forrest is going to take out Dennis, and somehow they're making this work. Spitty, he's down low, and it's all on Chris J, and not for long. Forrest is there to catch him out. How in the hell did they lose control of that situation, Mousesports?
They literally didn't cover a single spot where NiP came out. I don't know how that is possible. I'm actually surprised that I think it was Chris J was holding the back of the I guess B main. I wouldn't be worried about a rotation coming in from NiP that early on. Sure, you've given up map control, but you've also pushed in towards the site so early into the round that it's not super likely that NiP have had someone playing aggressively on A from the get-go. So I would have liked to see him holding upper, trying to hold people back and actually help out with getting the bomb down.
This is some matchmaking stuff here. Come on, guys. Even in MM, we know that if the smoke is deep, you put some bullets there. You don't let the guy walk in for free. Well, that's a little unfortunate for Mousesports.
Yeah. Being brought down to earth right now. Well, Speedy's going to pick up Exist, but it's only a consolation price at this point. He does have the bomb, and all of NiP have rotated towards A for some reason.
Well, that's interesting. Go, Spitty.
This is... I don't know. If I'm threat right now, I'm standing with a peek bat. Basically, or a rotate bat, I guess it would be called.
Yeah, I don't get it
like
either.
Don't
actually.
rotate bat.
Well, you're against an anti-eco. So unfortunately, Spitty is just not, going for it. And so
Yeah.
NiP, they're not gonna. He's not gonna figure out that NiP made a huge mistake, because he could have had a golden opportunity to get onto that site, really make this eco a success. I mean, they got one kill on Exist, but that's not really enough. It's not going to have a big impact on NiP's economy for this last round.
Yeah.
What they really needed was a bomb plant to be able to afford everything. I mean, they still get a very healthy buy. But they could have had more. Chris J could have had a Molotov. Just think about Chris, right?
Or just Tech 9s.
Tech 9s.
So you're, if Chris J wants to just follow up a potentially missed op shot, that type of thing. But still not the worst situation in the world for Mousesports. But NiP, they've been doing pretty well once they've actually had the opportunity to buy fully up and get grenades on their side. So
Yeah,
it has
it
to be
really
a worrying
is.
thing for Mousesports.
That's really the difference. You're right. Once they actually got the money for the HEs and, well, for the utility, that changed a lot for NiP. Also, the 2 rounds where they boosted up Freiburg.
Yeah.
And again, Pyth, he's going to get right up close. A little bit of a jump nade right there. Had anybody been boosted up on the other side of those boxes, they'd have taken some shrapnel to the face. But now he just
boosting
gets
his imaginary friend up there.
Who is... Okay, so it looks like Exist is playing support as well from Sandbags in mid, so there's a bit of a crossfire here for NiP. The only thing is that Mousesports really haven't been putting much attention on mid. They've been very straightforward in their approach, just trying to get onto sites with big groups of men, like just, throw bodies onto that site and get it done.
Yeah. Chris is actually going to find Get Right as well, and Mouse more or less set up in the same way they did for most of their default rounds. Having Dennis watch towards mid and the 3 other guys go towards A and see if they can find an opening pick, but now they're actually going to move towards mid.
This gets interesting. 35 seconds left. They're starting to overthink things, perhaps, Mousesports. It does seem like they want to head towards B, and there's a free pick for Forrest. That's Nico down. I'm really tired of Nico being the first man into a situation.
You're not a big fan of that, are you?
No, not at all. Not when you got Nico's aim. Like, keep that guy alive. Let him do work for you. Don't just send him in and sack him to Forrest with an AWP. This is looking like NiP have things under control, and Pyth holds his own from Checkered. Catches out Speedy and Dennis. It's like, feed Speedy in there, Throw him into the blender.
Wow.
Let him get the info. Keep Dennis, keep Nico, keep those guys alive, because those guys hit shots.
You're just really, really harping on Speedy and not having a great night today.
Dude, he is having a horrible night. But I mean, as far as like Mousesports are concerned, right,
no,
it's like, who is your most important player?
Well, yeah, like who's the better individual fragger of Speedy and Nico?
Nico is like, he's not god tier yet, but he's a monster.
Oh, he definitely is. Speedy's just like a teddy bear compared to him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you got Godzilla, And then you've got like the plastic, Godzilla that walks around from Toys R Us, right?
That's Spitty.
And there you go, right? Remote controlled, of course. Nico's trying to, that's how good Nico is, right?
Yeah.
Nico's like Godzilla with these like little T-Rex hands. He can't quite reach the remote control, but he's still got this AK, and he's like hitting headshots everywhere. And at the same time, he's controlling Spitty to run around on this map and throw flashes for him. I mean, it's really impressive. Really impressive. So there you go.
Oh, poor Speedy.
He's having a bit of a rough one.
Oh man.
Well, we haven't got to haze him.
Somebody's gonna Photoshop Speedy's head onto a toy Godzilla, like the one from dude, the dinosaur from Toy Story.
There you go.
There we go.
Roar! Exactly.
It's a real dinosaur, man.
All right. Well, enough of that. Let's get into the next half. 8-7. Mousesports, they're going to be feeling frustrated, no doubt about it. They could have got quite a few more rounds on the board in that first half.
Yeah, NiP looking pretty impressive once they got those full buys in. So I'm kind of hoping that if they end up losing the pistol round, that they're actually going to do clean eco so they can get, full-on grenades for whatever take they're trying to do. Especially if they are trying to emulate some of the style that Acer had with Threat being the EM leader, they were relying heavily on a lot of nades, a lot of Molotovs, a lot of smokes. So, you need to make sure you have the money to do so. That's going to be big for them. And, Mousesports with a bit of a different setup. We saw NiP having an extremely passive setup. Pretty much, they gave up both bomb sites and mid control, for that matter, on their pistol round, and that didn't work out quite as well. But Mousesports with a little bit of a stack here.
Yeah, I'm not... I'm wondering if this is going off of past information that they had from NiP. They were doing some homework maybe and saw that NiP were favoring, in scrims maybe they were favoring the B site. Or
the A site,
the A site rather. I mean, it's just like, because this B site is not as easy to retake, so they only have the 2 players here. And what is this? Get Right's actually going to get boosted back up into the vents?
Cheeky way of getting mid control.
Mousesports right now are wondering what the hell is going on this map. Because they have the 3 guys sitting over on A, but they haven't seen anybody. Now, finally, Nico, he's going to be peeking in mid, and he gets the headshot on Get Right. That's the raid boss down as well. Get Right being given a Tech 9. Chris J's been lethal with the USPs all day long, and he does manage to trade 1 for 1, and that sets it up for Nico to rotate in and pick up a second kill. NiP, they're getting picked off one at a time right now, and they are setting up well together here. Peek together, but it was too close, and Nico, he's able to get 3 kills before he's finally slain. And well, now the best he can hope for here is a bomb plant, and it's just not going to happen. Dennis finally shows up to the party.
I'm curious as to what NiP's full-on plan was. Because if they don't see anyone in mid, are they just going to back off all 5 bomb rush B, or are they actually going to send Pyth or Get Right through connector? I'm not really sure what the idea is, because they didn't get any utilities. The only thing they did, pretty much, except for Kevlar, was having Freiburg buy the Tech 9 for Get Right.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is where you have to wonder, are they overthinking things, right? Which can be a pitfall. If you're trying to change up your game, you're trying to, try and figure out what works and what doesn't and all that sort of stuff. You start changing a lot. You start overthinking things, and I'm wondering if that's what kind of happened with that pistol round there with NiP. I don't think Chris J was spotted there at the back of Checkered, so it might get fun for him. He's going to have to choose his moment well, and he is going to be able to peek out and pick up 1 kill. That sets it up for Next to drop in from the heavens and to Checkered. And while Freiburg and Get Right, last 2 alive, and not for long. Lots of money going to the SMGs this round.
Yeah. And that was a force buy from NiP, so not getting a bomb plant either. That means that obviously have to do a full eco here, and their buy round is not going to be that impressive at all. So they're going to rely heavily on, pretty much their rifles and potentially a pop flash here and there.
The thing is that Forrest is still pretty much the only one on NiP who seems to be really stepping up his game. He got another 7 kills there before the end of the half, so he's up to 17 now.
No, it's just being the closest to follow at 11, I think.
Mm-hmm. We're going to need to see them start, tightening up those ranks. Everybody needs to start chipping in here. It's going to be a bit tough for the Ninjas.
Yeah.
But still, Freiburg, he's going to be taking point over in A main. We have the rotation coming out as well here from Forrest.
Bombs actually in mid.
Are they going to try... What is this? Is this going to be setting up... No.
Is this going to be either an A fake or an A split? But I'm not really sure what they want to do with the bomb in mid. It's going to be
go B? Could go B if things hit the fan? No.
She's just going to run up
short. This
short.
is really scary. Sweet Jesus.
That didn't go too well.
I don't even.
It seems weird to me to actually put the bomb on the guy in mid, because then you give him the longest way to the bomb site possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I would think that Forrest would take it up into Squeak.
Yeah, so you just kind of want to hope that you can distract Mousesports long enough that you can get a bomb plant down. And that's going to be extremely hard if you put him on a bit of a marathon before he can actually get to the bomb site.
Yeah, nothing goes this way because he gets full flash. And he's
Yeah.
like, guys,
I don't know where
I don't know where I am.
I was like confused Trollta, confused exist. Like, what? Just walking back and forth.
I think that sums up a lot of CSGO players.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Pop flash in from Chris. Oh, super effective, and he's going to be able to do some damage. Yeah, and Freiberg's just like, hey, bro, I know angles too.
Actually, Gatribe has bought up a P90.
That hurts my soul.
Yeah. I actually like the fact that he picked up a Molly, though. That is kind of nice. So, I guess you could have gone for a Galil as well.
Just feels so weird to see somebody with like
A P90 in the buy round.
P90. Well, it's just like Get Right as well. I mean, granted, Get Right.
Is kind of the guy who does that.
He's the king of spray. I mean, he's the king of spray with an M4. Right?
Wow.
Okay. P90? That's beneath you, Get Right.
Still a lot of smokes on the NiP side, and it's just like they want to set up for an A take, but before that even comes to fruition, Pyth creating some havoc here on the A bomb site. Picks up 2 frags after Force goes down. Now, next, sole defender of that A bomb site, and just like that, pretty much all of Mouse evaporated.
What a thing of beauty from Pyth. That was sick. He just heard him. He knew exactly where he was on that site. He was able to eliminate the second man on the defense. Speedy now, not even sure if he should be taking part in this fight. 1v3 retake, Triangle of Doom set up, and he's getting backstabbed as well. Get Right's already on the hunt. The king of Lurk.
Does kill exist, but at this point I think you should just be happy with that and back off.
Yeah, drop him down to 3.
Kind of locked himself into a corner there.
Now he just donated a gun. So Get Right can upgrade for free. I mean, they do have pretty significant bank. But yeah, that was great timing. And yeah, this follow-up spray on Nico's. That was wild.
Opens up everything. If Nico's allowed to stay alive, then that again buys more time, and that allows Next to get more time to just kind of focus on A main, not having to worry about people potentially pushing close from the bomb side, all that stuff. No, Pythe definitely being the guardian angel of NiP that round.
Interesting that it's Nico who goes for the AWP here, not Chris J. And does he continue? No, he doesn't. I was wondering if he was really going to get hungry, if he was going to go in there and start hunting.
If that was Chris, I think it would have continued.
Yeah.
Like, just continue until he actually meets a wall. Oh, well, they're going to leave one guy alone on the A bomb side after not having seen anyone on that aggressive peek in A halls. Well, NiP. Again, doing similar boosts to what they did in the pistol round, getting Get Right up in vents. So they have mid control right now to a certain extent. And Mousesports are completely in the dark, so that's a good thing for NiP. The unfortunate thing for NiP is the fact that they don't really have that many needs to work with. 2 flashes, 3 smokes, and a molly. Still enough to do some significant damage towards B, though. But both of the Mousesports players are on the B bomb site.
Yeah, I'm wondering how quickly Dennis is going to be able to rotate over here to get into CT once these nades start rolling in. Because Spitty is getting toasty. Flash is there, and he's going to burn. He nearly pulls a Doja. He still manages to pick up 1 kill and could get eaten. He gets 2 kills when he has only 8 HP. How is that allowed to happen? And Chris J lying in the cut. Double spray down for him. It's going to be Forrest now in a 1v2. They're just standing meters away from each other. Straight up fight, and Forrest annihilates him. But now it's down to Nico, the young talent from Serbia. He's got his AWP.
Ooh, can Force see him?
Wondering if he goes for the pre-fire onto the site or like that aim, like that angle right now is looking a little awkward. Forrest has got the bomb though, so he's going to be able to plant with 10 seconds left. There it is. He just sticks it. No reason to fake at this point. And then he's put to sleep. He says, Forrest, you're getting a little old, buddy. Let me show you how it's done. The new generation. Make space.
Speedy right there being the hero of that round, actually being able to get 2 kills on, what, 2 HP?
Yeah, that's unreal. He nearly pulled a Doja, man.
I told you, like, he's a real dinosaur.
100 to 0. Look at this. Look at this. He's all melted now, and he's still got his fangs, Ven.
Not
Double
sure.
kill.
Yeah. Get Right definitely should have had that kill, but oof. That slows down everything from NiP, and they don't even know it. Well, because of where Speedy dies, they obviously don't expect Chris J to hold that angle in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That was just everything working perfectly for Mousesports.
No, that's incredibly frustrating. And, well, we see it here in NiP's game as well. They have to go for a force buy, and they're actually going for a little bit of an old-school strat here. Smoke's going down into mid to set up a B split through events if they want it, but mainly just to keep some pressure out here on Mousesports. It doesn't seem like NiP, they're definitely delaying the push through. They aren't just going to walk right into any nades that are coming through.
Yeah. They are grabbing mid control, and that's a great shot from Forrest onto Denez. Nex is still in a pretty good position here, and he does have support from Connector here, so a pop flash out here could do just a ton of work for Mousesports. But NiP on their side, they've actually just abandoned mid, left Freiburg there alone. And he's probably going to hold off rotations and be that delayed guy in vents.
Interesting to see Exist playing the lurk role as well, heading over towards A Halls. He's looking to see if he can't catch somebody out. 50 seconds left here on this clock, and Mousesports are going to start they need to get some information, figure out where this push is going to be coming from. Does Exist actually have any utility? No, he doesn't. No. So he can't even really, try and set up a fake,
he
like
has to sell his body
or something like that. Yeah, he has to kind of just sack himself and run in here.
Like, how much damage can he do, and how much attention can he actually grab from Mousesports? They already have 2 players there, so they might not feel a rotation is needed to just deal with the 1 player they can see.
Let's see. Comes time for the execute. 23 seconds left. Chris J, it's your time to shine. And they're going to come running right into. This sets it up for the backstab, though, and next he will be able to get the job done eventually. So a 3-on-3 retake. Superior firepower here for Mousesports, but NiP, they've got the positioning. Forrest, he's waiting up here in the angle. Nico's going to check it, and he's not going to land the shot. Attempts the flick, and it doesn't work. Flashes in, and it's completely ineffective. Next, though, goes charging into the corner. Obliterates Get Right. So it's tit for tat so far, this retake coming in, and Mousesports, they're really putting on the pressure now. They even have a smoke for CT. So this is going to make it tricky. Spitty takes out Python, last man here. Forrest with the AK. He's going to have to go charging through. And will they be ready for him? Mousesports, will they see this coming? He goes in a headshot, picks up the first man. Next is down. But is the bomb planted for him? No, it's not. Spitty going to bait him out into the open. And Spitty, he's actually got the time for this as well. Barely with the kit. What a close situation. Somehow Spitty, I got to criticize him more often. All of a sudden, man, he just grew like 1,000 times in size. He's the real Godzilla now, Van. This is it.
Yeah, he really is, man.
This is like the upgraded version, right? It's straight from
The one with
Japan. It's not
longer
from the
arms?
Toys R Us warehouse over in LA. No. This was made in Japan, man. This is the real deal.
Scary beast right now. He's coming up in the clutch 2 rounds in a row now for Mousesports. And again, NiP getting that bomb plant just kind of triggers them to force buy. And I don't know. I think this might trigger some PTSD within Threat. I'm not really sure because these kind of buys are not his favorite.
No, yeah, he's the kind of guy who wants to have that utility. He should, and this is what I was wondering as well, right? Are NiP going to let Threat call the way he wants to, right? And granted, you need to have an element of risk. You need to be able to embrace the YOLO of CSGO these days, which is, sometimes you just got to go for the force and you got to make it work, right? That's what Fnatic do. That's what Envy do. That's what the top of the best, the best of the best do.
Absolutely.
So there has to be that. But at the same time, Threat style is very much like, we're going to have a lot of nades, guys.
There has to be like a fine balance between it, right? You have to know when to do what. And, well, at this point, if NiP lose this, then obviously they're going to have to force buy every single round because they don't want to let Mousesports get to match point, but...
Well, so far,
doing
so
work
good.
right now, yeah.
Somehow they make it work. And, well, things are about to get nasty as Forrest. He's unleashed. He's certainly hitting his shots.
Yeah.
And, well, it works. NiP, it actually, this is that thing. It can be a dual-edged sword, though. And, I mean, where one of them, where it's like it can work, but now they're going to get confident. They're like, oh, yeah, this force buy, it worked. It might screw them the next time.
And they also put themselves, obviously they want to win rounds, so it's an inevitable position to get into, but they're obviously set up to be completely set back. Like the economy is just going to be horrible for them if they lose the upcoming round. Right now they've lost 2 members. If they lose a third, then we're looking at a really shoddy follow-up buy from winning that round already. So
I think they need to be a little careful about the hunt here.
Yeah.
This could get expensive for NiP. If they lose one more, they lose one. They could lose a second. No. Nicely done there by Pyth. Holds his own, manages to pick up 2, but this means that somebody's going to be forcing over here on NiP's side. That's not pleasant.
yeah.
We might have a pause coming through. Not sure if it's a tactical pause. Timing might be right for Mousesports, but then it's before Nico, so maybe they're just trying to break the momentum here of NiP.
That could definitely be a thing. And for NiP, even though they have to force buy, they're still going to get a much better buy this time around than what they had in the previous one. So they're probably not too worried about that. Mouse on there, well, on their side, they're going to have to eco because they've been losing a lot of members in these last couple of rounds.
Okay, well, it seems like it was just a quick tech issue that has been sorted out, guys. So don't worry, we're not going to be off this too long. It's not going to be too long a pause. We should be getting live once again. And now, well, I mean, now it's up to Mousesports basically to decide what they want to do. If it's going to be the Force, and well, before I even finish the sentence, it will be. 3 of them were so low on eco.
$1,500. That's kind of an automatic Force buy. It's a free Force buy in that sense. And I'm assuming, yeah, there we go. Nico's going to pick up a Deagle. I would be very surprised if it didn't.
They've got the rounds. They've got a little bit of a buffer to play with, Mouse.
It's going to be interesting to see if they decide to do something similar to NiP and kind of stack up towards the side, pop flash somewhere, see if they can get some easy frags and back off of that, and the man advantage they can get from it. Or if they're just going to solely rely on, Nico, for instance, doming people with that Deagle.
Well, we know that he's certainly capable of it.
Yeah, it's not a bad plan, by all means.
Nico's pretty good with the hand cannon.
It seems like that's what they're banking on as well, because he's the only guy peeking right now for Mousesports on that A-bomb site and it exists. Tempting faith.
I mean, Nico may be Serbian, but he was raised by Juan. Deeg, of course. Oh my God!
The jump.
The intelli jump? No.
He
Why did he jump?
not do that on purpose.
Well, that's awkward.
Yeah. Well,
let's enjoy this mauling that Mousesports are taking in this round right now. All that hype, that build-up. I even used the Juan Dig. And then,
it disappoints us.
I guess
he works the opposite way of Speedy.
Ah, right. Okay, I see where you're coming from.
So the more you're talking about him, the more you put him in focus. There you go.
Dude, it's Spitty right now. It's just like, I ain't taking none of your guff. Time for a dirt nap.
But there we actually see a really positive thing from NiP. Just launching out Molotovs left, right, and center to actually take that bomb site, even though they know they're up against a weaker buy. And that's definitely something that Threat has been harping them to do repeatedly. So that's good to see. And well, Mousesports on their end, they're gonna have to do a clean eco, except for Speedy, who feels kind of feisty and picks up a taser.
I dig it. Not really, but let's see.
Did they actually change the damage to it so it's 100%? Yeah, because it has drop-off damage, so you can't actually get into situations where you do like 89 damage.
Yeah, and you also move slower now as well. They reduce the run speed with it. So they're Valve, at least they do something right sometimes.
They balance the taser, boys. Game fixed. Well, Mousesports playing passively. They don't really have anything to force aggressive moves either. On it's a smart Molotov right there.
I'm impressed. That's some presence of mind from Pyth. Then he even gets the pre-fire on Nico. And it's just going to be the straight-up A-take here from NiP. So, unfortunately, Speedy, he's not going to be able to use the taser. We'll have to save it for another day or just die.
Oh, is he going to use it just for the kick of it? He's going to kickstart the car with the taser.
Drive it onto the site and then just, like, run it into the NiP guys.
It's always been possible, just nobody has ever tried it before.
If Chris somehow actually got that kill with a USP from halfway across the map, I would have been seriously concerned. It is good to see Get Right go for like that long-range spray, though. Used to be his signature style, basically. One of the best in the world at it way back in the day. Still is, but I mean, now it's a little more common, but he was one of the first to really embrace the CSGO spray.
I mean, they also fiddle with the spray, right? So. Well, Speedy's going to hold on to that taser. I'm not sure if it's going to come into play later on, but Mousesports on their side are going to get a buy-in. And Nico actually opting to go for UMP to get full nades. And I'm kind of okay with that. Obviously, Colt would have been really nice, but UMP has such high armor penetration that you will be able to kill people pretty quickly.
Well, especially if he's playing like quad and BK corner, where you tend to run into people at close quarters, right? Unless they go forklift, obviously, but if they're trying to wrap onto the site, you can put that UMP to good use, especially with Nico's aim, get a headshot. So there could be something there for sure. A little bit of just some spray shared across the map right now.
Both teams posturing.
Just letting each other know. putting each other on notice. Dennis gets tagged down to half, Chris J as well. So, I mean, all this spray through the smoke, etc., is actually going NiP's way, and Chris J tries to crouch peek his way through into B halls, and Get Right's there to take his head off. So now NiP, they've been gifted that entry frag, and this is huge.
Yeah. Speed is in a really good position, though, so that should allow Mousesports to play at least 2 people A and 1 guy mid. I'm not really sure why they want the rotation over towards Speed like they're doing right now. I think that would have been perfectly fine just having Speedy there all by himself.
Oh, Nico. And Nico, he wins that duel. What? Does he have a way out, though? They're looking to try and punish him. Exist is looking in A main. Molotov going all the way back. Exist full flash. He gets spotted by Dennis, and so Dennis now needs to be fully aware of what's coming. Has to worry about Freiberg wrapping up on short, and he's going to perhaps, yeah, exactly, try and get behind into forklift. That's not going to happen, though. Freiberg will hit that shot, but he gets caught in turn. Speedy moving in from Garage, and it's a 2-on-3 retake, and this is the key moment right there, and next he needed to deliver for his team. He is missing a few shots on this map so far. On the first 2 maps of the night, it was really, he was part of the main show.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of just, like the warm-up act, right? He isn't really, getting in there to fill the crowd up. That's definitely Speedy who's taking control.
Absolutely is. And I think next was the guys who rotated over towards B as well, which is not really necessary, I think. In any case, like, if NiP decides to go towards the B bomb site and they sneak past Speedy, go through vents, that type of thing, he's still going to be a massive factor in a potential retake because he's going to be so quickly behind the entire NiP lineup that he's going to be able to do, or he should be able to do a lot of damage,
right,
which is going to assist him in a retake. And if they don't come there, well, he's still in such an aggressive position that he's going to be able to do, rotate around, get behind A main pretty quickly, or just get back into catwalk, that type of thing. So I would have much rather seen Next hold control over middle that entire time, or just stay on A, that type of thing. Because, well, I think it was Freiberg who came through middle. He managed to pick off the one Mousesports player who was kind of roaming around on the site trying to find a pick. So that made the job a lot harder for Mousesports.
No, it's just far from ideal right now. Although this time they are electing to put Chris J in mid, so they might actually. But they have an AWP there in case a boost comes in from NiP. But NiP, their default really involves just spreading out across the map. I mean, hell, Get Right, look at how far back. He's all the way back in T-spawn. They will trade 1 for 1, but Pyth is waiting in Squeak. He's going to fall to Nico with that dig again. Nico finding a headshot.
And forces him to 1 HP as well. So even though he got the trade frag, he's a pretty endangered species at this point.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to take more of a passive angle here, looking towards B halls to see if anybody pushed aggressively behind there. But no, Mousesports, this is some smart CS. They've figured out we've got the man advantage. We've managed to bop NiP on the nose so far. Now we can just play from the sights and try and just whittle them down eventually when that push decides to come through. 55 seconds left on this clock, and NiP, they still have some utility, actually very good utility. Near full nades to work with, so this isn't over by any stretch. There's the incendiary, going to force Nex out into the open. Get Right, just so thorough, so clean. Nico looking to let him know that somebody else is on this site, though, and Nico, he's pushing through. As soon as it changes, oh, this is really clever stuff. Are they going to check this angle? Freiberg's going to come right through, but the flash is perfect. Nico, if he pushes forward now, he will get the kill. And it's going to be down to Forrest and Get Right now. Get Right's been tagged down to half HP as well. He hasn't made it outside just yet. Instead, it's Nico playing it so patiently. He's going to pick up a second and a third on top. This guy's too good. Quad kill at the end of the round.
Damn.
Damn is right.
And he's definitely putting on a show. 25 frags now for Nico. And NiP kind of waste the way around.
And this is where you kind of have to wonder, are NiP going to be able to close this? That's the thing. They're managing the comeback nicely enough. They're managing the comeback. But can they close?
Well, we're about to find out. So, pretty decent buy for Mousesports, the best they've had in a long, long time. It's going to be a pretty tough job for NiP to actually do something. And again, they're just setting up rather passively. Actually, more aggression towards that B-bomb site than we normally see.
That's true. Ineffective. Well, not wholly. As the smoke clears, that Molotov would have cleared the guy out if he was holding from checkered, looking into B hulls, but
still
Molotov,
not cleared out those boxes.
Exactly. That's what Get Right has to worry about now. And they're going for that boost once again into mid. There's the flash. It's flawless. Get Right, the element of surprise is gone. And now he has to be wondering, well, is the guy behind boxes? What do we do? How do we change things up? Because now we lost control of B. And we do have control of mid, so there is something to get out of this, but it's not ideal.
Yeah. And Mousesports also know that Get Right's only exit is towards mid, so they know that he's going to be around that area. You could tell Nico's already setting up for that.
Nice
Are
timing with the
Mousesports actually
smoke.
boosting up here in bet? Yeah, they are. So they might catch Get Right here as well.
This is going to be an A hit eventually.
I'm actually surprised that there's so many people towards that B area. You have 3 people pretty close to B.
Well, they are rotating. I mean, Nex is
Yeah.
going to get over to Carr. Smoke is going to go down and block him off, but that's Spitty with the backstab on to Get Right. Don't get to say that every day. Pyth, Forest, and Exist, they're the remaining members here for NiP. All 3 of them will be going onto the site, so it is going to be a tough push coming through here. And now we have to see, can they land the shots? Yes, just complete and utter one-sided destruction. Speedy and Nico just laying waste on the A side itself, and that double op paying off in the end. Nico up to 26 kills, nearly catching up to Forest with his 28.
Forrest has been playing really well so far. Hasn't quite gotten the backup from his teammates that he would have liked to see, but
No, I mean, some of these guys are pretty quiet right now, pretty tame. 11 on Freiburg, but
13
Get
on
Right sitting
Get Right.
on 13. I know, it's like if you have Forest and Get Right, you know, like Forest is clearly woken up. He ate his Wheaties this morning, but Get Right is, you know, it's a little odd to be seeing him so far below on the frag list. So that's like the winning combination. If the 2 of those guys wake up, that's when NiP just dome you.
absolutely. Well, NiP, they do get quite a bit of utility still going into this potential last round. And well, looks like they want to set up for some mid control here. Nico's sitting there with the op. But he's all alone, so he could easily get smoked at here.
But again, I do like that NiP are setting up. They're keeping him guessing, Mousesports right now, because they do get that little bit of mid control. They've got the smokes going down to make Mousesports worry about that B split. That's why Nico's already scoped up, ready, and watching the vents. And now this is going to be a pinch onto A, and this is going to get nasty. Dennis is massively exposed. It comes down to whether Nico can hold the line and delay them further. Exist is going to be wrapping up on short, and he catches out Dennis, but Dennis makes it behind the box just in the nick of time. And he stays alive. This is what it's all about now. Next gets taken out by Forrest. It's all on Dennis, and he drops the first man. Fair trade, and they maintain the man advantage. Now can Mousesports, can they close it out? Can they go up 1-0 versus NiP here? This is it, the moment, and Forrest is pinned down. Nice angle from Exist. Clever play catching Nico out in the open, but still 2 players left here for Mousesports, and they can get this done if they push together as a unit and trade. Exist is still behind Forklift, and he will be able to pick up the first one. And Chris J, not with the best gun for this, misses the flick and won't get it done. Both players surviving for NiP in the end. Forrest and Exist getting the job done solo. 2 kills for Forrest, 3 for Exist, and a key round picked up for the Swedes.
Very well played by both Forrest and Exist in that situation, especially after planting the bomb. Forrest not trying to move out because he knows that Nico's going to have eyes on him, just allowing Exist to get enough time to clear out that area. If it doesn't kill Nico, but just doesn't spot him at all, it's clear for Forrest to move into a new position, which is also good. But a lot of times you'd see players not having the patience to actually let each other work for each other.
Well, speaking of a lack of patience, right? Nico.
Yeah, no, he definitely could have taken a more passive position, waited for his teammates to get in there. He was kind of feeling it, I would imagine.
He was going with the flow, and well, he's going to go ahead and try and push in here. And what?
That tiny bit of metal saves Pyth's life.
That's
It's like
incredible.
one of them when you see in like movies, they hit the dog tag. That's what it was.
Pocket Bible or whatever.
Yep.
That's incredibly frustrating. And well, now Pyth is still lurking around here, so now it comes down to Dennis. Dennis, you have to deliver, and he will. Doesn't take a point of damage either. Recovers the AWP and the nade that Nico had, and so that's definitely a much better situation now for Mousesports. And again, NiP, rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah.
They don't have the extra man in mid. It's only Freiburg playing from here. He doesn't have Exist to back him this time. But still, this is what worked in the last round. Just keep going with it. I'm going to see if Dennis is going to be able to stay alive. This time, it's different. They have 3 players already here, Mousesports, firmly embedded on this site, entrenched, waiting for the push to come through. And for some godforsaken reason, Dennis decides to peek when all he had to do was sit. And so now, NiP, they've got the man advantage going on to this site. Freiburg, he's going to get that lurk kill onto Spitty. No, he loses the duel. And now Speedy, he's going to be able to hold the flank. Get Right will clear Nex out of the site. Nex has just definitely been asleep for the past couple of rounds, surprisingly enough.
Well,
Now, well, there's a bit of a decision for Mousesports to make here, and I think it's a pretty
I
simple
think you
one, right?
save. Or you sacrifice yourself to get right. Yeah, you definitely sacrifice yourself to get right. Now, that was odd. Obviously, it's tough for Mousesports to keep track of how many needs NiP has left and those kind of situations, but obviously for us, watching this, I guess, from above, we could see that NiP pretty much had no utility to actually take that A bomb site. So if you have Dennis sitting in a situation or sitting at a spot with that op, just holding an angle the entire time, waiting for NiP to execute onto that site, Mousesports should have a pretty easy time of actually holding off that A push. All right, here we go. Forced buy leading into the next round, which is, when you see what kind of buy they actually get out of this, you're even more surprised by the fact that the 2 remaining Mousesports members from the last round decided to push in towards the site. Because nothing they would do would actually harm the economy of NiP at that point.
Well, there's a deep flash, follow-up flash, and Force hits the first shot on Nex. And then just calmly moseys on out there to pick off Dennis as well. Nico will have an impact, take him out. This is not enough as far as Mousesports are concerned in this force buy scenario. They really need to do significant damage to NiP. Just taking out Force after he kills off 2 of your players, not going to cut it. And well, now Nico's kind of stuck because there's a man at his back. That's Pyth playing from Squeak. And well, Pyth, he doesn't realize what's happening. Had he known, it could have been a free kill in the A site gifted to NiP. Instead, now Nico, he remains a threat. And this man, so long as he's alive with the dig, he can do damage.
And still, Mouse actually opting to go with 2 people on B. NiP haven't really put that much pressure on that B bomb site for quite some time now. So I'm surprised that they're still opting to play with 2 people there. Now they're rotating 1 over. Just gonna have 1 guy by card to help out Nico here.
Oh no, he doesn't. He sticks around a little bit too long, and Exist finds him. Chris J still on the site though. Let's see. Hits the first headshot versus Get Right, plays it smart, falls back, spots the man on short, and there's the info at least, but Spitty, he's nowhere to be found. He's all the way over on that B site.
Super slow rotations coming in from Mousesports, actually.
What was the, I guess it's miscommunication, because if that push starts coming through, all those nades start coming through, don't you think it's A with it?
Yeah, no, I would imagine so, and we saw that the last time around. Then it was Chris J, it was the guy who was standing back at B. They've been just, in general, really reluctant to let go of that B bomb site. What are you shooting at, Speedy?
Speedy's freaking out right now, bro. He hears voices. Those voices say, overtime.
So, well, you asked it, can NiP actually close it out? They couldn't quite, but pulling it back to overtime is pretty impressive, given the state they were finding themselves in for quite some time.
Yeah, Mousesports are going to be kicking themselves, no doubt about it. Considering they should have...
if they end up losing this, that would be the second game today that they should have won, but somehow magically gave away.
That's a question of whether they tilt off the face of the planet in the second map.
I would hope that's not the case.
Well, we'll see if NiP now decide to go towards that B site, considering they've been, paying a visit to A quite a few times.
Yeah.
First round of overtime, change it up a little bit. Maybe you actually follow through with the B split, because you keep setting up with those smokes in mid. And both times you've gone for an A split. So now you could actually say, hey,
exactly.
same strat, guys. We're just putting the smokes down, right? Right? And then, you go towards
Act
the
believable. Act believable.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, NiP have actually ran, I guess, pseudo aggression towards B, where they've had Freiburg boost up Get Right. Unless that they got caught out pretty badly because their Molotovs didn't actually clear out the boxes in checkers. But if they do their job properly, clear out the boxes, smoke off the B main entrance, then they can definitely do something similar to actually keep the focus of Mousesports towards that B bomb site. Because right now they haven't even had to do something towards B, and they've still been able to keep Mousesports players there. And at a certain point, you just have to assume that Mousesports are going to wisen up to it. So that could be NiP's first move, to actually just reapply pressure towards B to keep Mousesports honest and not have them basically lean heavy towards A. But I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more aggression from Mousesports around the map. We've seen a couple pushes in towards A halls. We haven't seen really much aggression outside of Speedy's one round of aggression into Toxic towards B, but no such thing as a boost in middle. Similar thing to what NiP did on their CT side. So they're allowing NiP to pretty much set up for their executes as much as they like.
That's a very good point to be made, actually. You do need to go for that, at least some form of aggression, just to make sure that NiP aren't feeling super comfortable. Like feeling 100% comfortable that hey, we're not going to have to worry about these guys. We can actually just set up as long as we want. Seems like we've dropped a member here. Who are we waiting on?
Pyth, and now Get Right.
And now Get Right drops out as well.
Oh.
So we are going to be going into overtime, guys. It's going to be the first team to 19. So let's see. We got Get Right back at least. Now, where is the latest edition?
I think he restarted or fell out during the halftime as well. So maybe we heard something about TeamSpeak issues, so that might be it. Maybe he's sorting stuff out.
It seems like that was an issue not too long ago. You're right. That was the last time we had a pause here. Not really seeing these teams take tactical pauses. Actually, seems like a lot of the time it's a very straightforward. You know, actually we just have a problem with the keyboard. We have a problem with TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
You know, very straightforward stuff.
For the most part, both teams have been setting over the defaults on their T side. We saw a couple of, I guess, Mousesports were very adamant about once they wanted to attack a bomb site, they kind of just, well, initially either went towards A with a majority of their members, or they went towards B with all 5. And that's kind of what they wrote on the entire time. NiP spreading out a bit thinner, but predominantly doing the same thing over and over again.
I hope that Speedy doesn't shoot this gun. I hate the sound of the unsilenced, M4A1.
Teasing him. Luckily, Rush is there to save you.
Thank you, Rush. Good looking out, bro. Ah, it's Connor.
Oh.
We need you to bring up the overlay with the observer's name more often, bro. Observers, there we go. Rush and Sliggy.
There we go.
Okay, we got Pyth back, and then guess what?
Well, had to lose. Well,
Next.
who did we lose? Next, yeah.
That's all right. That's not a big loss, right?
I mean, he has been pretty invisible so far.
Yeah, he
hasn't had the game of his life. He was playing pretty well in the 2 first games of the day.
Yes.
Definitely dipped off here on Cash.
He has been struggling a lot of these rounds. Bit of the aggro, bit of the trying to get in there. But if you're gonna play that kind of style, you need to get in there and just rock them. You gotta hit those headshots.
And one of the issues is when you're the guy rotating between bomb site as well, you kind of have to be hitting your shots because you're the one who are supposed to either take advantage of the fact that the guys on site are buying time for you, or you're going to buy time for your teammates. But if you're just instantly dying and not really putting any damage onto the guys that you're seeing, you're not really doing anything for your team. You're just kind of running around giving $300 to NiP. So hopefully he can get it going for Mousesports' sake in the overtime.
Yeah, well, that's what we're wondering.
I guess the good thing for them right now is that they had a couple of shaky buys towards the end of the CT half. Now they're going to get the restart. They're going to start with Cash. They're going to have full utility, probably an op on Chris, maybe one on Nico as well, depending on how they want to play it. But at least both sides will have full utility. And we've seen, not surprisingly, that both teams are actually more effective when they have nades to use.
Fancy that. You mean side gets easier when you have incendiaries and HEs and flashes?
It's weird how that works.
My mind, bro.
It's blown.
It's blown.
Definitely think some teams.
Nico, that's
can he make the slash up? Oh, there we go.
Bloody.
Just played it.
Someday we'll see somebody actually pull that off in an official.
Yeah.
Someday. We've seen somebody get
I'm
saved
expecting
by the bomb.
Penta to be the first guys to do all that stuff.
Yeah, they are.
They're just doing run boosts and all that shenanigans. They could probably they would probably do, instead of that jump, they would probably just do a run boost from the top of the, I guess, garage thingy in mid, right? Instead of just going through the middle man and that little box there.
Isn't that possible as well to do the run boost?
Oh, no, that should be possible, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be like incredibly
the only problem is
set that up.
The only problem is that first off, you're just completely open from everywhere, and you're stacking up on top so you can get spotted from CT spawn, and you're gonna have to jump, so you're just like the loudest guy.
You're gonna make noise.
Flying in the sky.
Yeah.
So you have to hit a pretty sick sweet spot for that to work. Actually, it's probably why we don't see it too often.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, there sounds like a lot of ifs, ands, or buts here.
Yeah.
I'm not
in
really
a perfect
sure
world,
about
man.
this one.
In a perfect world.
All right, now we're not sure what the delay is, guys.
Well, Nex is back at least.
Yeah, we got everybody back on the server, so that's one thing. It's kind of like one of the pieces, the pieces of the puzzle, right? You got a server, good, check, right?
10 players,
check. Are they playing the game? The paper kind of crinkles together in a big smile, and it just laughs at you.
Nobody's actually AFK either. Everybody's moving about. So
even Spitty's moving about.
Is this where we blame Threat?
That's always a good thing. He's a Swede, right? Not computational. He'll
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Take it. That's why he fits in well with DDK and Bardolph.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Threat again.
Seriously.
At events, such a nice guy.
Well, because he was over in Japan studying, right? Finishing up some studies.
Yeah.
Recently.
For
so
about half a year. Right?
Yeah, it was like 6 months, basically.
I wonder if he actually picked up any Japanese.
If he picked up any Japanese?
Yeah, like if he actually knows how to say stuff, if he can actually hold a conversation in Japanese.
How sick would it be if while, he had us all fooled, right? He had us all fooled, Ben. He was over there like, oh, yeah, I'm studying mathematics. What he was actually doing was training the Japanese team.
That's what we were talking about right before he left for Japan. I think he left pretty shortly after Star Ladder. And we were talking about it, like, well, you should join the Detonator guys, which is the best team in Japan. Or like, obviously, they'd have you in there, right? So, Threat, not speaking a lick of Japanese, in that team, doing the in-game leading, just shouting at people left and right. They qualify for something like ESWC, and then just dome people. That'd be amazing. That's what we were expecting, but apparently...
That would be some Karate Kid level stuff right there.
Exactly. Bro. Without sweeping the leg.
Mouse's coach.
But Mouse is a coach?
Who's Mouse's coach?
Is it Yanko? I actually wouldn't be surprised if it's Yanko.
Can we bring up the scoreboard, please? Scoreboard, let's see. I mean, no, it's just going to be Observer, then Threat. Threat is there.
Yeah.
But Mouse have a coach?
Oh.
Oh, NKJ, of course. Okay. I forgot.
I'm still gonna be like, oh no, it's still Yanko.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what? How does Yanko feel?
I was like, wait, what's YNK backwards? Like, let the conspiracy theories start.
Yeah, NKJ, you're not supposed to be playing right now. You need to get off, get into that coach slot, so we can, start this overtime. Because we have not even started the second map of this best of two, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're just tuning in, welcome. It's the ESL Pro League. This is our last match of the night. And that is right. It is the hot and toasty match of the night as well.
Presented by
The Score Esports. Fantastic app where you can find all of your stats and news on esports as a whole, with a focus on CS, LoL, and several other games as well. So be sure to go and check it out. You can find it on Google Play. I don't even know what it's called. Apple App Store. It's the Play Store, and then there's something else.
Find it on the internet.
I don't use
press the download button.
Apple phones. I eat apples. I don't.
I pretty much just Google everything.
See, that's how it works, bro. That's how it works.
So literally, like, if you want to like download, I don't know, like an iOS upgrade, they're just like Google iOS newest upgrade.
Right.
It's also why my PC is not working properly, right?
I was about to say, bro.
Like I downloaded some RAM.
You sound like,
it's not working.
This is some Destiny stuff right here.
It's not working as intended. I don't know. Like,
you need to download more RAM.
I installed it, clicked the exe like 1,000 times. Nothing happened. It's weird.
I don't understand. You know what? Oh.
I did everything it told me to do.
That was Destiny, wasn't it? He was using that as a troll back in the day.
Yeah, that could very well be. That would be a Destiny thing to do.
Pretty sure he was trying to troll people with this. Like, what? You can't download RAM?
Well, you wouldn't download a car. Would you download RAM? No comment.
I could try. I imagine, because you could probably download like a 3D printed car and then make your car. So what's up, Ben? Where's your joke now, bro?
Well, you still, can you... Well, I guess you could 3D print RAM, I suppose.
Totally, exactly, right? It's not going to be very speedy.
No. It's going to be a nice placeholder.
It could work, it could work. Alright, looks like we're good.
There we go.
That's enough rambling for one. It's actually pretty hard to ramble when you don't have control of the camera either, because, a lot of the material you'll get, you're actually like just flying around on the map checking stuff out.
Like, did you ever notice this carousel?
The benches, bro. The benches.
Oh, do you remember that? The benches on Inferno?
Oh,
Man.
yes. And then we started getting that rating system for the benches across all maps. All right. Score is 15-15. As you guys can see, we are dead even at this moment. NiP are on the T side with Mousesports on the CT side. And we are going to be seeing which of these teams is going to be able to reach 19 rounds first. That's the goal here.
And finally, we're seeing some aggression coming out of my Mouse. So taking up offensive positions here. Got Nico with the op, and then Dennis to be the looming destruction. Force actually going to get the better of Nico, so that's a great start for NiP, but they have no idea that Dennis is lurking in the corner.
This might, throw a wrench in things here. Because now NiP are probably thinking, great, we've picked the guy off on A site. Now we can take our time. Dennis, just play patiently.
Yeah. Plug your keyboard.
Where is Scoots with the no peek bat? Like, just sit and wait, bro. Just sit and wait. Because it will be glorious. It will be beautiful.
Oh, Exist?
Except that Exist is actually
Spider
so
senses?
next level. Something's tingling. He's like, why did they flash in there? Why would they flash? There must be something going on. And bam, Dennis, he gets nothing out of his lurk. And NiP right now, they are shredding through the defense. Mousesports, you got Molotovs all over the place. Forrest nearly gets clipped, but still, wow, a lot of damage being dealt here, actually. Spitty, he's still maintaining form. Next finally steps in, takes out Pyth. Still a man advantage here for NiP. Rotation is taking ages for Chris J to come in as well.
Yeah.
And, well, somehow Spitty gets a totally blind spray down onto Exist, so that's going to rattle things. Freiberg and Get Right come back into it, though, and now it's just on to Chris J with a 1v3, and he decides, I'm not going to have any part in this.
I wonder if this is actually just the Get Right effect. Everybody's so used to that, the fact that Get Right's never going to be where the rest of his team is, so they're expecting the backstab at any given time.
The odd thing is...
But it's not happening.
It's not happening because it seems like a lot of these rounds we've been seeing Exist play the lurk role more than anything, and Get Right playing with the group.
With the team, yeah.
Which is just really odd, which does your head in, right? Because that's not how the world operates, Ben.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not how this works. Get Right
is supposed to be on the opposite side of the map. That's just how it is.
How are we ever going to get to make our joke again, right? Where it's just like, you don't know where Get Right is? Look behind you. Get Right was the king of lurk.
He's just gone so meta that now it actually backfires on you. Like, where's Get Right? No, he's actually in front of you now. It's like, what are you going to do? It keeps, just keeping you guessing.
Surprise.
Well, first round of OT goes to NiP, and that's actually a bit of an issue for Mousesports because, well, luckily they do manage to save an up on Chris, which is pretty big. Because if you lose that first round as a CT, when you buy an op, you're
stay on Forest?
gonna get broke.
Oh my! That is really slick.
Yeah.
If he has no idea, but you guys saw it. He was nearly lined up on that wall bang. Split second earlier if he'd have pulled the trigger, and that would have been one of the most ludicrous things we've seen in quite a while.
That must be like soul destroying as well for Mouse. It's like, I don't know what happened.
Where he would have got shot from. Yeah, no, that was really sick.
Oh, Speedy. War of attrition right now.
Well, he's going to have to give the ground, and that's a little unfortunate. Maybe some communication on NiP's part there, because Get Right, if he's waiting in Toxic, he should be able to catch anybody coming out of the fence once that Molotov gets thrown in. So a little bit of a lucky break there for Speedy. He doesn't get punished the way he should have been.
But look at the forward position they've gotten in mid. And Mousesports have just completely given up mid controller and Exist. As you said, working as the lurker right now. And he might be able to catch a big rotation coming in from Mousesports here.
Forrest being very thorough. We have the nades going out. They fall back onto the site. And now we have to see, is this push going to be successful? Exist with the flank is going to take out Nico, so that's already going to throw a wrench in things here for Mousesports. It comes down to Dennis. He's going to have to come up big. He stays alive, partially flashed Pyth. But it's not good enough because Freiberg is there and Forrest survives as well. And this is pretty much end days here for Mousesports. They're broke. They don't have any money left.
They're broke. Chris, being the only guy who managed to save a weapon, is the one guy who can buy up.
And he hasn't been having like the most
impactful CT half.
Exactly, right? Like
next, spying a scout. Okay, I'm assuming he's gonna go aggressive. I would hope so. Get Right just posting up in the most disgusting position with an auto sniper.
Known to man. Oh, buddy. Forrest, you know you want to go for the wall bang here. I saw you line it up. We know you can do it.
Let's watch Theory Craft with Anders. There we go. So far, no real aggression coming out from Mousesports. And well, not really sure what Nex hopes to accomplish with that scout buy. If he's not peeking aggressive lead.
I'm wondering what the hell Gatright wants to accomplish with this auto sniper buy on T side. I guess it's just a matter of letting Forrest, do work right now. Nex is desperately looking for a shot, and he's not going to find it. Forrest will find him first. And so now 2-man advantage for NiP. They get to pick and choose which site they want to go towards. Pyth is still lurking over here in Squeak on A site, but they could go back towards B if they want NiP. They didn't really do that in regulation time, but they could, it's still an option. There are 2 bomb sites after all on the map.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of B really in a while though. And Gatright actually tosses away his auto sniper, picks up an AK and groups it with the rest of his guys. And well, with only 1 member on Mousesports being towards A, this could get really here for Chris.
Well, there's the setup, and somehow Exist edges out Chris. So again, Chris caught sleeping, and that's the AWP down. Dennis is going to try and rotate in, using that smoke to his advantage. But little does he know, there's like 1 billion people there waiting for him, and they're all pretty pissed off. Dominant first half of overtime here for NiP. All of that weight really allowed for Mousesports to cool off a bit too much.
And if you're Mousesports right now, you should feel pretty frustrated, because this is a match that you definitely should have closed out in regular time.
Yeah. Yep.
And you allowed NiP to get back into it. Now they just stomped you in the first half, and you have to have a perfect T side to actually just fight for, a new chance at life.
No, this will be a frustrating night for Mousesports, because they should have had a 2-0 over G2 as well in their first best of 2 of the night. So if they were to lose versus NiP here, I mean,
might just put them on full tilt.
It might put them on full tilt for the last map. You're right.
And if you remember back to the first half when NiP were playing on that CT side, they didn't get a lot of stuff done until they were actually able to get full buys with full grenades, and that's what they're going to get right off the bat now once we get going with the second half. So I'm fearing for Mousesports, this could very well be in just a quick sweep in the OT.
This could be like a perfect. I mean, you have to think about it. Well, yeah, that was very clean work though. Still, Mousesports, I mean, trying to go for the aggression, and it didn't pan out. But it looks like we are restarting, guys. NiP now on the CT side, swapping sides. Mousesports on the T side, and now we get to see what they have in store for us here on their T side. If they're going to go all out aggressive, Chris J doesn't go for the AK or the AWP. He will go for the AWP.
There we go.
Double flash, smoke, Kevlar, just making sure that he'll have enough money to buy a new one if he needs to. And get right with the Scar at 20, dude. What is this?
Oh, they're going to be able to buy. Oh, they have so much security, really, knowing that Mousesports have to win every single round to force into overtime. So you're going to get 2 buys in anyway.
If you're a Get Right fan right now, you're crying big salty tears. Not only did he buy a P90, the spray and pray god.
I like the fact
gun.
that he actually thinks about this. So he actually, skimps out on a bit of a couple of nades because he bought a Scar. So he's gonna be able to buy, a Colt or something full nades in the upcoming round.
Sure, he will be able to. But it's like P90, Scar 20. Get Right. What are you doing to us?
He's the pub server's, idea of hell.
He is your hero. He is your god. Well, Forrest. Hey, what's up, bro? Chris is down. Man advantage now. Unfortunately, the buddy system not really in play here for Mousesports. They aren't able to follow it up. And Forrest, he's playing mind games. How sick is this? Forrest, don't burn your toes off. Is he going to be able to figure out a way to get out of this? Yes, he will, because Spiddy actually gives up on the fight. What? Spiddy.
Forrest, man. So sneaky.
That was awesome. That was really sick. Well, it is actually going to be a mid-take coming in here from Mousesports.
It's going to be a B-split.
Never mind. Yeah, B-split, I guess, in the end. And Exist, it was ugly, but it got the job done, and Forrest takes out Spiddy in the end, so it was inevitable. And now a 3-man advantage for NiP. They're going to try and power their way up short here, Mousesports, try and get up onto this site. Bomb needs to make its way up here as well with Nex. And, well, Get Right peeks out with that Scar 20. Shoots at his teammates. He's so excited to have this map under lock, and there we go. Perfection. All 5 players surviving in the end for NiP. And a 19-15 scoreline for the first map here on Cash.
Pretty damn impressive from NiP to bring it back. Because they were in a deep hole.
Mousesports were looking pretty good. Like they were just going to shut the door on NiP.
Yeah.
They had 8 rounds, and then NiP all of a sudden wake up on their T side and just start, trailing, putting all the rounds together to the point where they just got control of the entire situation.
Yeah. No, it really was that way. And as soon as NiP kind of stopped force buying every single round, let the economy actually get into their favor, they were able to do so much more. And that's really what turned the game around, especially on that first half on the CT side. So, no, again, NiP's showing that they still have that staying power. They're never really out of it before you've actually closed the game.
Yeah, this is a glimmer of the old NiP, right? We saw Get Right with his scumbag ways. Some good spray from him as well.
Still not lurking, though.
Still not lurking, though. That's right. It's a bit weird. But, guys, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with our last map of the night here at ESL Pro Leagues. Don't go anywhere. We'll be just 5 minutes.